Welcome to the Slow Living Collective podcast. I'm Amy, wife, mother of two and devoted homemaker. Join me on this journey as we explore the beauty of slow and simple living, where life unfolds at its own unhurried pace. I'll take you through my experiences of slowing down, tending to our allotment plot, finding joy in the little things and making the most of our small home. Together we'll learn to live in harmony with the ever-changing seasons, discovering the magic that lies in embracing the present moment. So let's embark on this enriching adventure towards a more intentional and fulfilling life.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Slow Living Collective podcast. I'm Amy and I am so grateful to have you here. It feels like I haven't really been around for a while, and I know I've done a few episodes recently, but I definitely took a bit of time out and it was really nice actually. It wasn't planned. It was one of those things where I just suddenly didn't have enough episodes planned. I'm always really like so far in advance with my podcast episodes, massively so in fact, but it ended up being that the only episodes I had was all of my guest episodes, and I do like to spread them out and also, have my own episodes like sprinkled in between. And so it was a complete me thing. I have so many good guest episodes coming out for you guys over the course of the rest of this year. So it's just me. I need to get myself in gear. I really need to get myself in gear. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about summer. Summer is here-ish. If you're listening from the UK, you'll know what I mean when I say ish, because it has been a really odd year. Really odd year. It's been very cold and wet, like all through the spring was very difficult. If you're a gardener like me, you know what I'm talking about. Very difficult to get anything cultivated, get things growing has been difficult if you're growing from seed. And even as we've gone into summer, it's still not perfect. And so it's been a year. It has really been a year when it comes to the weather, but I wanted to talk about the season of summer today. And I recently put out this really sort of all-encompassing, all-inclusive, simple summer guide on my mailing list. If you don't follow me, I have a mailing list / blog over on Substack. I really have gone to and fro with Substack, if I'm perfectly honest, and I think it's the best place for me to create content that I like to create. So I'm just giving it a whirl. A re-whirl maybe, because I have I've got so many balls in the air. I've been a content creator and marketer for 19 years. I've tried all of the things, done all of the things, helped everybody else do all of the things. But for some reason, Substack just sat really oddly with me, because I already had a mailing list provider and I already had a blog. And so I didn't really know where Substack would fit into those things. And anyway, I'm still figuring that out. Maybe you're not here for the Substack chat, but over on Substack, I create a lot of free to access content, which is all about simple living, slow living, mindful living, low tox living, or basically everything I talk about here. And I recently shared this simple summer guide, and it was just everything about summer living and how to live seasonally in the summer season. And so, summer is here, whether it feels like it where you are or not. And I guess kind of regardless of what the weather is doing, I want to share with you about how you can live more in tune with the seasons in the summer. So summer is this great time where we've got longer days, lighter evenings, warmer temperatures, hopefully, but it's so much more than that as well. It's this idea that we've also got thriving, abundant produce. Like the landscape and nature looks so green and lush and just thriving again and just full of life. It is the absolute peak of the calendar when it comes to seasonal living. And when you talk about seasonal living, it's very much like this idea that we live with the ebb and flow of the seasons. And what I mean by that is that we very much have our ups and downs through the year. And if you are listening to this, you might be able to identify with this. Like in the depths of the winter, it is cold, we get less daylight, we have less energy, we might have less of a desire to be out and about, less of a desire to be socializing as much. And then when the spring rolls around, we're sort of like waking up from our winter slumber, we're getting a little bit more energy, the days are starting to get a little longer, a little warmer, we feel a bit more alive. By the time we get to summer, we are at our peak. We are getting a maximum daylight. We are getting maximum vitamin D, hopefully. We are, probably a lot more social. We are seeing more people. We are doing more activities. We are spending more time outside. We are at our ultimate peak before we go into autumn, where we start that slow down again. Everything's sort of starting to wind up. We are maybe spending a little more time indoors. Things are starting to get a little colder. The days start to get shorter again, noticeably shorter. The nights, once we get past equinox, the nights are longer than the days. And so then we just obviously slowly move back round into winter again. So when we're talking about summer, we are talking about like the peak of our existence for the year. And I wanted to talk today about how we can embrace summer, how we can still live this slower paced life, a real simple existence, and just embrace everything that the season has to offer. Now, like I said, summer is wonderful. We've got long days, we've got light evenings, we've got abundant, hopefully homegrown produce if you're that kind of person, if you're like me and enjoy gardening and growing and just being able to provide your family with some food. I always say that I am nowhere near being able to be self-sufficient, but I definitely sort of employ elements of self-sufficiency in what we do. It's a season where I spend all of my time barefoot, and it's a season that feels just vibrant and rich in almost everything. And I think although the season can be busy and bright and loud and all of that, it doesn't feel like it's too much. Whereas if we operated that way through the winter, everything would feel like a lot and it would feel like too much to us. And that's because we are at the peak of the yearly cycle and we are just much more vibrant. We are warmer. We are getting more daylight, and our circadian rhythm is functioning differently than it would in the winter. When we get more daylight, it just changes the way we feel and the amount of energy that we have. So when we think about summer and living seasonally and also living simply through summer, it allows us to kind of strip away everything that we maybe would consider unnecessary and just focus on what truly matters and what is uncomplicated for us and what we love about summer. So like I said, summer is almost the pinnacle of nature's cycle. We've got the long days, the longer evenings, nights are warmer, and the whole season feels like it is about the warmth, about the abundance, about the brightness, and about just living our life to the fullest. And that is exactly how we should be embracing summer. Maybe our calendars are filled with play dates or meeting up with people while the weather is good. We are much more spontaneous in the summer for most of us. Like we might be doing something and like, sure, let's go and get a drink, or let's go to the park, or, whatever your lifestyle includes. And we just feel more awake and more vibrant. And that just helps us go through summer and its busyness with ease. Like I talk so often here about how, we don't need to be busy. We don't need to wear busy as a badge of honor. And it's a different kind of busyness in the summer. It's just, I guess, just kind of going with those ebbs and those flows. And, winter, we feel a lot more like stripped back and cozy and tired, and when you live with the seasons and when you are able to acknowledge how you feel in the different seasons, you will start to naturally do these things. And I think that's like a really key point to living seasonally, is that once you start to notice it and be more intentional about where I am at in what season, like, when someone asks you to do something in the winter, or, like a common thing that I will often say around like December, January time is that, it's so unnatural for us to jump into a new year, set all of these intentions or goals or resolutions, whatever you call them, and expect ourselves to be able to fulfill them for the next 365 days when we're trying to do it in the middle of winter, the deepest, darkest depths of winter. If we started in the spring, when we naturally start to come awake again, maybe we would have more success. But then there's a whole industry that sort of lives off of us not being successful. We set resolutions with the intention, like, how long are you going to keep those for? And so it's just about acknowledging how we feel through the seasons and how we can live to them. So when I think about my year, like I'm, in the midst of summer now, I'm more than happy to fill my calendar. I am never happy to fill my calendar through the winter. It takes a lot more energy on my part. And when I think about my year ahead, even from this point onwards for another year, when I think about autumn, I think of slowing down more than I have done in the summer. In winter, I think about my winter as a period of more hibernation. And then I will think about spring as more of awakening. And then I will think about summer coming round again and being at my most vibrant. So that's a really simple way to look at how the seasons can sort of work in your own life. And then that is just natural. That's not anything that is particularly that I am doing. That is just how we were designed as human beings. And we all feel those things, but many of us, when we live this life that I would say is living by default, living this 365 days at the same pace, we actually push aside how we really feel and what is really natural to us. And we kind of try and live, because modern society has taught us to live this way. We live like it's an eternal summer, and it is not an eternal summer. Summer is a period of time, and then we slow down for the rest of the year in various ways. So when you think of it like that, you are just honoring who you really are and who you were designed to be and who you always meant to be and the way you were meant to live. And when you better understand how that works and how you can do that, you will feel more fulfilled as you go through. Now, of course, there are things that are non-negotiables. We all have to get up and go to work, or maybe we get up and we are parents and we are parenting. Some of these things don't stop because it's winter and we want to slow down. But the things around that can feel a lot different depending on the season. But we're talking about summer. And so summer can be, just such a wonderful season because, finally the warmth is back and we feel more vibrant, like I said. But it also can be a season of reflection. It is this big celebration of living life at its absolute peak. And so what we want to do is use our summer to fill our cup up, to see us through the rest of the year. Now, I just want to jump in here and tell you about my course, Rooted in Seasons. So I have created a course all about helping you naturally learn to live with the cycles of the seasons. And so Rooted in Seasons is my signature seasonal living course, and it is on sale right now for 50% off. You can get it right now for just £24.50, and it's only going to be available to you guys as podcast listeners now at this reduced price until my next episode airs, which will be 1 week from now. I have had this offer on live on my Instagram and over on my Substack, but it is going to stay at £24.50. You guys are the only ones that are hearing about it from this point onwards. So go check out Rooted in Seasons. I just loved creating it. It is a wonderful little course to help you just figure out how you can just embrace seasonal living more in your own life. So you'll be guided in your own time to just embrace a more cyclical way of living, and you'll learn about the beauty of each season, and through that you will find answers to living more simply. So it will be about embracing more seasonality in your life, about food and nutrition, our well-being, homes, and so much more. So Rooted in Seasons, £24.50 for a limited time, and it is the ideal way to start embracing the seasonal life that you desire. If you're interested in joining the seasonal living course, please head to stan.store/the Slow Living Collective, and you will find it there. I will leave the link in the episode notes for this episode, but just to tell you again, that is stan.store/the Slow Living Collective. That will bring you to a page of all of my offers, free and paid, and you can just go down and sign up. It's super easy, and I can't wait to help guide you through learning to live your life with more seasonality. Okay, let's dive back into seasonal living through the summer. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about what seasonal living looks like for me. And hopefully you might be able to pick and choose a few things out that you can relate to as well. So I would consider myself what is called an urban homesteader. And an urban homesteader is someone who essentially just uses the principles of traditional homesteading, like self-sufficiency, sustainability, and self-reliance, and moves it more into an urban environment. So unlike rural homesteading or farming, which obviously, is a different thing altogether, urban homesteading is more adapted to a smaller area. And for us, it looks like growing as much produce as possible on our organic allotment and also on our small balcony. So we live in a small 700 square foot house. We live in a split level flat, and our balcony is about 4 meters by 1 meter. And you'll be amazed at what you can do in such a small space. But we also like to preserve our food, canning, freezing, all of that sort of stuff, but also sourcing our food as ethically and as locally as we can as well, which enables us for ourselves, but also to teach our children how to foster the connection with the food and all the resources that we consume. So it's been a funny year growing, I'm not going to lie. It has been difficult, like I said earlier in the episode, to just find a day to do some gardening where it's not tipping down with rain. I have very, very clay-based soil. When it rains, it is not ideal for me to be on my allotment, because it is just, I just don't want to compact the soil. It really is not great. But we have still managed to grow an absolute abundance of produce. And that has come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, time that it's taken. I started about the normal time as I usually start growing. I have a greenhouse on our allotment, and that has been really helpful in being able to, grow a bit more and start a bit earlier. It's not a massive greenhouse, it's 6x4. It's perfect for me. And perfect for what I could afford. But yeah, it's been hard getting some things to get started. Some things haven't really progressed. Pak choy being one of them. No idea why my pak choy has just been so unsuccessful. And I think you'll find when you talk to different gardeners, like I could say like, oh, my pak choi has been so unsuccessful this year, and somebody listening is probably like, what? My pak choi is like taking over. So it's so subjective. But we have been really enjoying the allotment, even though it's been a lot trickier this year. It pretty much rained consistently until the beginning of August, which meant we really couldn't get out and do much. We did do a few bits and bobs that didn't require actually being on the soil. So we redid our greenhouse floor. We obviously got a seed sown and things like that. And when things dried up a little, as April progressed, we were better able to, really work on our plot, which was good. It looked fantastic in a very short period of time. But you just have to take a moment when things like this happen. Like there's nothing I can do. I can't ruin the soil of my plot just to get it done 2 weeks earlier. So we have been really enjoying growing this year, even though it's been slightly complicated. All the wet weather definitely has brought out all the slugs and snails, but I know there are people that have actually fared so bad with slugs and snails this year, whereas I don't seem to do too bad on the plot, and I certainly don't see any up on the balcony either. They don't make it up this far. But growing your own food is like second to none, and having the allotment and having the balcony means I'm better able to just be able to have more that we have grown ourselves and less that we have to buy. And obviously summer is when harvest is at its absolute peak, and we should have sun ripened tomatoes and things like that, but tomatoes are taking a little while to ripen with the lack of sunlight not sunlight, but sunshine, I guess, that we're getting. But yeah, summer is a great time for harvest, and it's nature's way of keeping us nourished because, and I'm sure you know this if you've listened to previous episodes of mine, but locally sourced seasonal produce is packed with the exact nutrients our bodies in our localities need. And so, we live in a world where we can get anything at any time from anywhere. And I think so often we've absolutely lost touch with the rhythms of our food and what we're supposed to be eating and when. It's completely not normal for somebody like me living in the south of England to be eating a banana. Like that is not what my body needs, because I don't live in a place that could grow a banana. But it's almost like the modern world has designed us that way to pull us away from our roots. And so when we are able to consume local foods grown in our own local climates, it helps our bodies to get exactly what they need. It's almost like nature is really, really clever, isn't it? We have an absolutely extensive list of what we're growing this year. And now if you head over to the slowlivingcollective.substack.com, you'll be able to check out everything on there that I am growing this year, what is growing in our locality, what works, what is not necessarily working. I am located in the southern half of the UK, and it's, I guess, slightly warmer, slightly drier where I am, but yeah, never perfect. Never perfect. This is a year for the record books, I'm sure. So yeah, go to the slowlivingcollective.substack.com and you can check out the massive list of the things we're growing. We're also growing up on the balcony this year. I haven't done anything too high profile because this is the first year I've grown on the balcony for a little while. And we have a variety of herbs, and I also bought one of each variety of my tomatoes. I have tried lots of different varieties of tomatoes this year and super excited to actually do something with them. So hopefully I get a good crop. They are growing well, very green, not much sign of them changing colour, but we'll see. So we haven't harvested too much yet this year. It is still quite early, I guess, for a lot of harvesting. We've harvested a lot of strawberries. We harvested our gooseberries. We have used some herbs. We've harvested some courgettes. And, there's so much more to come as the season progresses as well. And like I said, we can't rely fully on the produce we grow in our allotment. It's not big enough. It's not that scalable. But it is really a joy to have the chance to do as much as we can. And I love having the space where, the kids can sort of see what we're growing and how it turns into our food. So that's incredible. For us, our food and nutrition is a massive priority. We try and consume whole foods and organic where possible, regenerative farmed where possible, and try and stay away from processed food as much as we can. We're definitely not perfect, but we aren't aiming to be. And it's actually something that really brings us a lot of joy, creating this life where we are eating well. So when you don't necessarily have the space to be, if you're not able to be self-sufficient, which let's be honest, most of us aren't. Most of us don't have big rural homesteads or farms or anything like that. I thought I would just share how we source our products outside of what we can grow, because that's really important, all year round. But this time of year, we're thinking about it more because we're harvesting stuff, and even if we only have a small space, so many people are trying and growing, whether it be just some strawberry plants or tomatoes and whatever. So we tend to do a real mix of things. We shop locally for our eggs, our raw honey, and any other produce that it might be use the farm shop for maybe buying meat or something like that. We do order organic veg boxes from Riverford. We tend to do that about twice a month, and we've been doing that for around, I think it's about 18 months, and we love it. I will still get very excited on Riverford delivery day. Even though I know it's coming, I still get very excited. You can actually, I have an affiliate link for Riverford. So if you'd like to try a Riverford box, if you use my link, you get £15 off your second order, which is essentially a free box. So it's really worthwhile. So all you have to do is go to the slowlivingcollective.com/Riverford. That will take you through to my link. I will also link below in the notes, so you can just click straight through there if that's easier. Another thing we do is we order a lot of our organic kitchen staples from Well Easy. We've been doing this for a little while as well, and honestly, I love it. Mainly because, firstly, there are so many options. Secondly, the food is really good. And thirdly, it is so simple to pick the food preference you have. So, for example, we like to prioritize organic, and we definitely like to keep our stuff seed oil free. We are not about inflammatory seed oils in our food. And so actually Well Easy have the option for us to actually pick products that are seed oil free or products that are organic. And so that is incredible. If you'd like to try Well Easy, I have a code to get you £10 off your first order plus a 30-day free membership trial. All you have to do is put the code SlowLivingCollective10 in at the checkout. That is SlowLivingCollective10. I will also link to Well Easy so you can go check them out, have a look, see if it's something that would interest you as well. I know one of the things that we love are their dates. They have their own line of a number of products. Their dates are incredible compared to shop bought varieties. They are big, juicy, plump, and just so good. So that's Well Easy, and you can get £10 off your first order by using the code SlowLivingCollective10. And then other than that, we just top up from the supermarket, and we tend to use either Morrison's or Sainsbury's, as they are what is local to us. And I definitely, when it comes to organic produce, I definitely find Sainsbury's the best for availability both in store and online. Now, when I shared all of my stuff about this on my newsletter to my subscribers, I actually shared one of my favourite recipes for the summer, which is my easy no pectin strawberry jam recipe. It is super simple, super easy, and this time of year there's an abundance of strawberries. Maybe you've grown them, maybe you've gone strawberry picking, or maybe you've just bought them from the supermarket. Whatever it is, an easy no pectin strawberry jam is perfect. It's only 3 ingredients and it's really, really simple. I will link to the recipe in the notes and you can go check that out as well. Summer is such a time of abundance, and like I said, we feel so much more energized through summer. And so this summer, when you're embracing the season and you're embracing maybe your own wellness, what you want to do is be more balanced and just create this joyful lifestyle through the summer that nurtures both your body and soul. Spend as much time as possible outside. Get all of that vitamin D that you can. It is honestly just the perfect time to prioritize that. So you can do that by integrating outdoor activities like morning walks, yoga, maybe swimming, especially outside if you have like a Lido near you. These help obviously boost your physical health, but also your mental health as well. And when it comes to wellness as well, savoring that seasonal produce, finding seasonal foods that nourish your body, purchase locally, buy things that in your locality or your country are in season right now, and just enjoy the simpleness of summer. Summer can seem so busy, but there are some really easy, simple, mindful things you can do to just relax and unwind. And it might be as simple as just like laying out on the grass and watching the stars. And when you start to infuse these practices into your daily routine, you can cultivate an incredible sense of harmony, and just enjoy the relaxation of summer and the vibrancy of summer together. They can go hand in hand. So I hope that gave you some little thoughts on how you can be just more attuned to the summer, how you can maybe embrace eating a more seasonal diet, or maybe embracing the way you feel in summer. I hope you take something away from this episode and try something new. Like I said, if you are interested in learning more about how to live with the seasons and live in the way that nature has intended us to live all along, please come and join my Rooted in Seasons seasonal living course. It is just £24.50. It's usually £49. Don't sleep on this offer. Please don't sleep on this offer if it's something you're interested in. At £24.50, and that will give you access to the whole course. It has an incredible PDF booklet that goes alongside it. It also has video sessions, audio sessions. You can read the transcripts, whatever works for you. There is so much in there. I just love it. And one of the benefits of the Rooted in Seasons course is that you can also join the Rooted in Seasons community. That is something that's going to be more available come September time, but we are just going to track through the whole year together. And I just want to help you guys just find that peace with seasonal living and figure out how it can be a part of your life. The modern world is busy. We all know that, but you can still absolutely live by the principles of seasonal living, whatever your life looks like. So don't sleep on the 50% offer. Come find me over on my Stan store. My address is stan.store/the Slow Living Collective. That's stan.store/the Slow Living Collective. And you can just scroll down and you will find the Rooted in Seasons course. All you got to do is pop your details in and your payment details, and then it will automatically have access to the course. And come September, also the wider Rooted in Seasons community too. So I cannot wait to see you there. Don't miss the £24.50 offer. I don't ever really do the cost this low. So do come and check it out, and I can't wait to see you there. I hope today's episode gave you something to think about and maybe gave you some ideas on how you will start to maybe live a little more seasonally. Summer is the peak, it's the peak season, and as we move through the year and we move through the seasons and move through the cycle of the seasons, our feelings and our emotions and the way we live can definitely ebb and flow. And whether you choose to live seasonally or not, those natural ebb and flows happen because that is who we are as human beings, and it was how we were designed. And sometimes the modern world has us butting heads with that idea because the modern world wants us to live like it's an eternal summer, and we cannot operate at that level all the time. It is important that we have these periods where we are really vibrant and awake, but it is equally important that we have the winter of our life where we are able to rest and recuperate and regenerate and be ready for when the peak comes again. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to today's episode. You can find me as always over on Instagram at The Slow Living Collective, and you can find my Substack, which is theslowlivingcollective.substack.com. Probably everywhere. Like I said, I will link everything in the notes below, so make it very easy. So any links that you were interested in, you can just click straight through on. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you in the next episode.